Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here in the outer sunset on what is looking to be a beautiful day. My name is Joaquin Torres, and I am the Deputy Director at the Office of Economic and Workforce Development, leading the Mayor Lee's Invest in Neighborhoods program, which is looking to focus and coordinate city resources, both existing and new, to serve our neighborhoods in need and to serve our small business commercial corridors. One of the things that has been so important to the mayor is making sure that we're attentive and listening to the streets, and there is certainly no one better to know that than Mayor Lee, who's been both our Director of Public Works, then moved on to being a city administrator, and now our mayor of our city. And so to make the announcement of this new program that will benefit merchants and small businesses up and down corridors like the one we're here on today, I'd like to invite, for your introduction, Mayor Ed Lee. Thank you, Mayor.
Well, it's great to be out here in Sunset, out in Irving Street. I should come out here every week. The DPW folks are cleaning the streets pretty well, huh, Supervisor Chu? Well, it's great to see all of you here today. Earlier this year, particularly during the budget negotiations, Supervisor Carmen Chu and I and a number of other supervisors engaged in a lot of discussions about what our neighborhood small businesses could benefit from as we saw indications of our budget recovering. And clearly we understood and have always understood the role of small businesses, and they're the backbone of the city. And our Office of Economic Development, which is headed by Todd, who's here, and Joaquin is helping out with the Invest in Neighborhood strategy, is that we wanted to really demonstrate that our commitment, not just by saying it, but actually doing things that would really support our small businesses. Scott Hauge and Henry Karnilowitz and many others, Benny and others who have been around us know that my favorite thing is to go to a neighborhood commercial corridor like Taraval or out in the Sunset, Irving or Noriega, and just have meals or breakfast or a cup of coffee and really find out all the distinctions that each neighborhood has to offer. And I've been a big supporter of our commercial corridors historically in all my different capacities. But as mayor, I think we get to do something pretty big. And so with the Small Business Commission, and Regina's here today to be part of this effort, along with Building Inspection, Tom Huey's here, our Public Works, as I mentioned earlier here, all of the agencies working together with our supervisors and the mayor's office have come together and put this program together. And we wanted to announce it and launch it today in front of Martin Lamb's Goodwill shop here, because he's been a real great leader in helping many of the small businesses, and particularly those that don't speak English, owned by proprietors that maybe English is not their first language. Over the past couple of years, Supervisor Chu and I have been talking about these drive-by lawsuits that have been occurring, and how shocked some of these businesses are to the sometimes abusive process that are used by litigators to get at them. But in the context of overall our city's willingness to comply with ADA, with Title 24 of the state, and our own access through our Mayor's Office of Disability, we want everybody to comply. We don't want them to be victims of irrational and abusive lawsuits. And at the same time, we want to give them the help that they so well deserve. And so with the extra monies that we have, with the extra monies that Supervisor Chu also had, and making sure that we used it wisely, we decided that we would create this ADA Small Business Access program in conjunction with Asian Neighborhood Services and with Northeast Credit Union. We would not only provide some free assessments by certified access specialists that would come out here to the commercial corridors like Irving, like Noriega, and Taraval in our Invest in Neighborhood strategies. They would offer these free assessments that would do the inspection and allow the small businesses to understand what all the challenges are. So it begins with that assessment. And then with the monies that we do have, we wanted to follow up with our SF Shines programs and other programs that we have and offer a combination of grants and micro lending loan programs that are available to these businesses so that they can make the corrections in an affordable way. This is our city's attempt. It's fully supported by the Board of Supervisors, and this program, I think, now has its ability to be launched and have really meet these access challenges in a positive way. So we're not just avoiding lawsuits. I think we do want every business to be compliant as they should be, but we're caught up sometimes with businesses that change hands. People don't know whether or not they're grandfathered in, or whether or not how accessible it is to everybody. But we also know that there are many people who have disabilities that have also want to have access to the businesses all around these corridors and enjoy it as much as we do. So I think full compliance is the goal, and to have education, to have a free access assessment being done, and then to follow up by those that are challenged economically to have loans and to have grants that are made available, to have all of them participate in this program is incredibly good for the city. And I think it will help many of the small businesses understand their obligations, their responsibilities better, but also help them get into compliance better. So I'm glad to launch this program here in Irving Street with Supervisor Chu, who's been a really big champion for this. But we have many members of our business community that have also been asking us to do something positive about this and not let the small businesses become victimized in these drive-by lawsuits, and to do what we can do to make it a positive thing. So I'm so glad that Joaquim's come aboard to help us. He, having headed up the neighborhood services program for years, now has his talent with Todd in making sure that all of the small businesses along these commercial corridors have access to our programs, have a higher degree of understanding, along with our Carla Johnson and our Mayor's Office of Disability and all the different agencies working together. We're going to make this successful. This is a family of agencies that care about our small businesses. Last time I looked, there were over 71,000 businesses who registered that had less than 100 employees. That's an incredible sign of businesses that are a backbone, that hire a number of people. They're not the biggest employers, but they do hire the largest number of employees. Over 51% of the city's employees are hired by small businesses. And I want to continue supporting them, nurturing them, have them increase. I hate seeing vacant buildings, vacant spots. Benny knows that. Every time we walk down there, so what's going on with this site? What's going on with that site? Carmen Chu knows that as well. We've done a lot of walks together. I want to see every one of these vacancies filled with small, bustling businesses. We need them. We need them to hire more local folks. And one way to do it, one sure way to do it, is to make sure that they meet the ADA requirements, the federal requirements, the state requirements, our local efforts to make sure that those that have disabilities can also shop and be a participant in our local economy. So with that, Joaquim, thank you for your leadership. We get to launch this wonderful program right here. There are 3 streets in District 4 that are going to benefit from this. Now we're going to roll this out to all other 85 neighborhood corridors in the rest of the city. Is that many? 25? All right. Christmas must be coming early. Well, I'll talk to Supervisor Chu about any more monies we can release for that. Right? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. And now I'd like to bring up the supervisor of the district that we're in today, someone who is no stranger to the importance of supporting our small businesses, whose family used to run a restaurant. And I'd like to invite to speak now Supervisor Carmen Chu.
Thank you, everyone, for being here today. I want to thank the mayor so much for coming out and launching this pilot here on Irving Street. As you know, when I came on board in 2007, one of the most important things we wanted to relay was how important it was to not only support our downtown businesses, but also to support all the small business businesses that are located across the city in our communities. For many of the folks who come down to Irving Street or Noriega or Taraval or Judah, a lot of the times the people who come here or the people who own the shops are our local residents. They are the people who live in our communities, who want to help make our neighborhoods thrive. And in 2007, when we first came on board and subsequent years, one of the things that we noticed was that there were a number of different businesses that were being targeted with some of these drive-by lawsuits. Many of the times when I spoke to businesses, they did not know about the requirements that they had to meet with the federal ADA laws. Once letters came in, they didn't really know how to respond. They sort of put it away. And it was more egregious, especially for our monolingual communities and our merchants who really didn't understand the correspondence that they were seeing. And so it really left them in a very bad position. Some of the businesses found that they had to close down their shops because they simply could not afford to make the ADA improvements and could not afford to pay the penalties associated with that. And that's just something that we don't want to see, especially in the last few years. I think San Francisco, we've really powered through some rough years economically. I'm here with many of my merchants on Irving Street here who've just stuck with this neighborhood, stuck with this community, and have gone through tough economic times and weathered it with us. And we just want to make sure that we do everything that we can as a city to support them. And so this issue about ADA compliance is something that has been going on for quite some time. People may say, well, in San Francisco, how big is this problem? We know that since 2005, there are at least 300 lawsuits that have happened about ADA compliance issues in the city and county of San Francisco. This is not insignificant for a city our size. And we know that these are things that we have to address. Since that time, with Mayor Lee, we've actually done a number of things. We've worked with the Bar Association to make sure that we have legal advice that can be given to our merchants on a very cost-effective basis. We've worked with Regina and her shop with the Office of Small Business to make sure that we're doing training videos and making sure that different businesses are compliant and they know what their responsibilities are. We work with Regina's shop also to work with the Community Opportunity Fund to set aside $1 million to be directed towards improvement loans for small businesses to deal with ADA access issues. And I think this is sort of the next big step that the city is taking to make sure that we're supporting our small businesses in a very direct and hands-on way. With this pilot, I'm proud to announce that we have over $80,000 that will be going to this district to help with CASP inspections. These are basically inspections of businesses to say what it is that you must do over a period of time to become compliant with ADA requirements and rules. And these are things that will really help our businesses weather any lawsuits and really plan to make sure that their businesses are accessible to all San Franciscans. And so today I'm just very, very proud of that. We're going to see over 30 businesses be able to have a CASP inspection. That is a very meaningful piece to be able to help them weather some lawsuits if they should come down the pipeline. In addition to that, we expect to see $70,000 in actual physical improvement grants that will be coming into the district as well. And so I know that the mayor will be looking very intently to see how this program works, not only in my district, but also across the way in the Richmond district, and see whether this is a program that we can launch even wider citywide. And so again, I'm really, really thankful for the mayor for his investment, but his dedication to small business. We talked a lot about supporting our small businesses, and a lot of times you hear a lot of lip service to it. This is actually putting your pocket where your mouth is, and actually making that investment to make sure we support our small businesses. So again, I want to thank the mayor. I want to thank all of my small businesses who've weathered the years here, and of course to all of our departments that have been absolutely phenomenal with this effort. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor. And we also know that it's so important to make sure that we get the work out on the streets, and we have the right kind of nonprofit partners who help us achieve the goals of a program like this one that's so important to our small businesses. So I'd like to invite up to speak to that Frank Baumgartner from Asian Neighborhood Design, who will be working with us, our Office of Small Business and Economic Development, to make sure we get the word out with Supervisor Carmen Chu. So Frank?
Thanks everybody for being here. I'm with Asian Neighborhood Design, project coordinator over there, and we're a nonprofit architecture firm that's been around for 40 years, specializing in improvements for small businesses and affordable housing. And we're really excited to be teamed up with OSB and OEWD on this venture to bring education about the importance of disabled access. And it's our aim to really make sure that all these small businesses are inclusive to all patrons with a space that has the accessible upgrades and that's ADA compliant. Thank you.
One of the most important parts of the program of Invest in Neighborhoods is making sure that we're listening to the needs of our neighborhood partners. And to speak to those issues are some of the small businesses who know how important it is to make sure that we're getting the word out and who want to make sure that their neighbors, their small business neighbors, are supported. One of those people is Angela Tickler, the owner of Hardware Store right across the street, who will speak to the importance of this program now.
Good morning. I'm also the president of our local merchants association, and so, sorry, Bill. So we have done a lot of work with Carmen and Katie's help over the last few years trying to educate, particularly our monolingual merchants in the local area about how they can protect themselves against these lawsuits, which we know for a fact can cause small businesses to have to close, which is a shame. Small businesses, in addition to hiring 51% of the people in the city, are also a huge part of the city's character and individuality, the things that make San Francisco special, and we want to make sure that that can keep going on. It is incredible that the mayor and Carmen Chu have figured out how to do this program. As a small business owner myself, I am unable to afford to be able to pay for a cask inspection, and yet I know how important it could be to me should a lawsuit come my way. So I will be applying for one of these inspections, and I am encouraging all my fellow merchants in this area to do the same, to try and take advantage of what is a great program that the mayor and Carmen are piloting here in conjunction with those other agencies. It is important for us to be able to serve everybody in our community, but sometimes it's cost prohibitive for small merchants to be able to do that. So we don't want to see people going under by not being able to comply. So this program will be really important to our merchants as well as others across the city, and I hope and think it will be very, very successful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Angela, and for all your leadership as the president of the Outer Sunset Mission and Professional Association here in the neighborhood. So thank you. As we said, we want to make sure that we're reaching everyone in a culturally competent way through this program. And to speak to the importance of that is a partner who's already done a lot of that work, who's been reaching up and down corridors like this one here, and that's Martin Lamb from Goodwill. So Martin, if you could come up and speak to that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hi, on behalf of the Goodwill industry, I would like to, I'm very honored to thank Mayor Edwin and Supervisor Carmen Chu for setting aside $400,000 to help local businesses to become ADA compliant. We've partnered with Supervisor Chu's office in the past to make sure that we get the word out, to make sure they know how to do the ADA. It's more update for the ADA code with them. And a lot of our businesses, most of our neighbors in this community are small businesses, mom and pop stores, and who don't have a lot of cash flow every month. So we're very grateful for the mayor and the supervisor's office to giving us the support. As you know, lawsuits can mean to a business that they have to close down if they don't have the cash to defend themselves with hiring a lawyer. So, and we have seen it in the past, like this past year alone. A lot of the small businesses actually have to go down throughout the city because of people doing drive-by lawsuits. And here at the Goodwill industry, we are very grateful, and one of our mission is to help people to create a job opportunity for people to come here and work. So one of the things that we care for is creating jobs in the city and preserving jobs in the city. So and about last year, we were able to help about 7,000 people just to come by and to shop for us and to provide job opportunity and training opportunity throughout our missions and our main center at the Van Ness station. And I once again want to thank the mayor and Carmen Chu for helping us to get this funding. Thank you.
Well, thank you all again so much for coming out. As you can see, this is a team effort. So we can have the most and strongest collective impact in corridors like these and like the ones in the Invest in Neighborhoods program. And I know that the supervisor was very excited to get this program up and running right away. And she'll be joining with a job squad member, Manish Goyal, who's recently come onto the Invest in Neighborhoods team, and members of the Office of Small Business to make sure that we're getting the word out about this program right now. So I just want to say thank you to all of you, to Rob Black from the Restaurant Association, to Benny Yee for being here, to our merchants, our neighbors, and all the city partners members who really believe in supporting the businesses. And of course, to Todd Rufo from the Office of Economic and Workforce Development, Supervisor Chu, and our Mayor Edley. Thank you so much for this opportunity to help out our small businesses in our community. So all, thank you very much, and we'll be available for questions later on. Thanks.